Hello once again and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance on my birthday. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click on the notification bell for any updates on new videos like this one to keep you up to date with Super League or other rugby league matters. Coming up in this episode, we have 4 Super League games played on Friday night, and I bring you the highlights, the best bits from all 4 games. So it's Super League Friday, as there's 4 games on Friday for your viewing enjoyment, and I bring you highlights from every single game, and I'm trying to decide which game I should go with first. Well, I have got 4 buttons here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll choose button 3. Saints versus the Robins. Okay, so Saints are on the road to the League Leaders Shield for the first time since 2019. And the first time under Christian Wolf. Their thumping win over Hull FC last week nudged them towards the trophy, and they're hoping to repeat that great success this week by the other team from Hull. As for the Robins, they're low on troops and know that another defeat could all but end their playoff hopes late in the season. They need a season's best performance if they are to defeat the champions and keep their season alive. Well, to begin with, we look at the team news from the Robins, as they have got back quite a few players after looking like they had to start 2 17-year-olds in the starting lineup for the club. One does make it though, with Connor Barley making his debut on the left wing, opposite side to Ryan Hall. Jimmy Kindhorse replaces Sean Kenny-Dowell, who is out for the season with the knee injury, while Mikey Lewis comes back into the starting lineup to partner Rowan Milnes at half-back. Kane Lynette came through last week's victory over Toulouse and continues in the half-backs, and Jez Litton is the starting half-back for today, as there's no Matt Parcell. On the bench, Zach Fishwick, 17-year-old, and Phoenix Lauluai Tongage is on the bench with Will Maher and Albert Vete. On the pitch for Saints, we have Will Hapoati starting at fullback. Tommy Makinson and Conrad Hurrell continue on one side, but Ben Davis and John Benison are the other side of the back 4 of St Helens. Wellesby and Lomax continue at halfback, and it's more or less as you were when it comes to the forwards, with Alex Walmsley, James Roby, Matty Lees, James Bell, Joe Batchelor, and Jake Wingfield being the loose forward call-up today, with no Morgan Knowles. On the bench, 3 of the normal, Lussick, McCarthy, Scarborough and Pazzi, but unlike against the Black and Whites, the recalled loanee Sam Royal does make the bench against his lone side, the Robins. Saints were looking to gain momentum towards a League Leaders Shield, as a win today and Wigan slipping up would have seen them be champions, but Tommy Makinson opened the scoring with a penalty early on for a strip, but Makinson that went over for the first try of the game. His touch conversion was fantastic, and he gave Saints an 8-0 lead. 8 became 12 as Makinson went over once again with a fantastic flowing move. Fortunately, weren't able to get the conversion this time. A great ball by Jack Wellesby found John Benison, and the winger's ball back inside found Wellesby to score the next try. Saints were in total control, and after a short kick-off was kicked out in the full by Lachlan Coote, a penalty was given, and Makinson was there to add on the extras. 20 points to 0 at half-time, and Saints came again just after half-time. This time it was Darcy Lussick from acting half-back. His usual sneak attack got him over the OKR line. OKR showed fight though, as Jez Litton started the move that led to Kane Lynette scoring in the left edge. Saints went over once more, and after Johnny Lomax found Wellesby, his pass out wide to John Benison was a fantastic effort, and a Saints 32 points to 4 lead. Next, it was try time for Will Tate as he went over after a good Jez Litton kick, and another one gave a moment to remember for Davidson Barley, who went over in the corner to much of his delight. No conversions were made by Hull KR, but 3 tries. Next, it was Ben Davis who went over to... And it's St Helens 38, Hull KR 12, as the Robin season seems to be coming to an end for the playoff places, while Saints go into their next game against Wigan, looking to tie up the League Leaders Shield. Let's keep the red theme going, and this time it's Wigan Warriors that we're going to look at as they face bottom of the table Toulouse. Wigan Warriors was shot last week by Wakefield, meaning their chances of winning the League Leaders Shield are now remote at best. Their dreams of Old Trafford are of course still very much alive, but they certainly need a boost of momentum after last week's defeat. So a game against Toulouse, who are now all but relegated, is perhaps the perfect fixture for them. As for the French side, it's a last chance saloon. They need a win as soon as possible, but away at Wigan, a victory seems unlikely. After that said defeat, first of all, Wigan Warriors have changed quite a few of their starting lineup as Kai Pearce-Paul goes back into centre position with Abbas Mitski on the side where we normally see Liam Marshall. Brad O'Neill continues at half-back with the suspended Sam Powell still missing, but Wigan are boosted by the return of Liam Farrell and John Bateman. Oliver Partington was a late substitution in the starting lineup for Morgan Smithies last time out, and Smithies misses out again, so Partington keeps his place in the loose forward position, which means there is a return on the bench for James McDonnell, who is on his way to Leeds for the 2023 season, and he was recalled from his loan with Lee this week. For Toulouse, last week may have been the most costly of Toulouse season. Not only did they lose to Warrington, almost granting Warrington's safety, exacerbated by a win for Wakefield, and concluded by bans to 2 key players, with Oliacho Bolt receiving a ban as Corey Norman faces 8 matches out for his ban. Guy Armitage is back from injury on a more positive note, whilst James Cunningham and Elias Bergal also return to the fold. Bergal does not make the 17 in this state, but with the likes of Cunningham coming back in, the bot suspension means that Chris Hankinson goes to fullback. Guy Armitage does indeed return in the centre position, and it's Lucas Albert who will partner Tony Gigot in the halfback positions. Maxime Stefani and Hugo Perze are the 2 spoilers in the second row, while Eloal Pulissier, who was the man that came out with the most credit last time out, is joined by Maxime Puech, the aforementioned Cunningham, and Lambert Belmas, who's been quite good this year for Toulouse. Wigan faced Toulouse, and it was Wigan who got the first points on the board as Bevan French got in the end of a flowing move, kicked the ball for himself, ran off the field and back onto it to score the opening try of the game. Harry Smith adds the extras and 6-0 to Wigan. Then Cade Cuss finds a gap after an outrageous dummy to find Wigan another try to make it 12 points to 0 thanks to another Harry Smith try. The ball was worked out wide for Abbas Mitski on an attempt for another try, but he went out of touch. Next, it was Harry Smith who went over, getting on the end of Cade Ellis's offload to score unopposed. Once more, Wigan went in before half-time, and this time it was Jake Bibby who spanned in a loose tackle, and it was 24 points to 0 by half-time. Next, Wakefield adds a little bit of magic to the play. Chris Hankinson was drawn in, and Bevan French got his second try of the game. Wigan were running rampant at this time, and Toulouse on the attack dropped the ball down, and the first on it, Bevan French. and there was no catching the Australian as he streaked to the other end of the field despite some decent chasing by Toulouse, but Evan French has got a hat-trick. The tries kept coming, and this time it was Kai Pearce-Paul getting on the end of a fortunate bounce of Kate Cuss' kick to score just left of the posts. Toulouse did finally get onto the score sheet, and this time it was Ollie Russell who was on the end of a good offload by Guy Armitage, but Bevan French's tackle wasn't good enough to keep Russell out. Wigan came again though, as this time Patrick Mago's offload found Harry Smith, and his ball out wide was knocked forward by Matty Russell, and Liam Farrell's offload as he ran back inside was found Kate Cuss for his second try of the game. Wigan were almost done, but they had one more in them, and Patrick Mago's drew in 3 players, and this time Harry Smith ran unopposed before offloading to Liam Farrell for the score. 52 points to 6 to Wigan Warriors over Toulouse. Have Wigan put the final nail in Toulouse's coffin for 2022? So we go on to our third game, and it's Leeds Rhinos versus Warrington Wolves. And when Leeds and Warrington served up a cracker in round 1 at Headingley to open Rugby League's season for 2022, it seemed like both sides were heading for success this season. Since then, both have flirted with relegation, although both now appear to be safe from that particular threat, but only one of them are in with the running for playoff rugby, and that is Leeds Rhinos. A win is a must for the Rhinos, whilst Warrington will be hoping to pick up a rare consecutive victory. So on to the team news, and the home side is where we begin, like the last one. The Rhinos are boosted by the return of 3 players from bans in the shape of Aidan Caesar, who's at halfback, Matt Pryor, who's on the bench, and Reece Martin, who is in the second row positions. A 4th player expected back from a ban, Tom Holroyd, will not return, and is requiring surgery on his elbow. As Harry Newman is another young casualty this season. With his 3rd hamstring injury, Richard Myler goes to fullback, with Zach Hardacre moving to centre. Cam Smith picked up a nasty cut in his hand, but still appears on the bench, ready to be called upon when needed. And James Bentley returns to the starting lineup after missing last week's game. Hardacre is currently running around with a knock at the moment, so we'll see how that lasts. Now, for Warrington, they have lost Stefan Rashford to concussion this week, with Riley Dean replacing him at halfback. Tom Mikelele and Matt Nicholson, as well as Connor Wrench, all picked up injuries last week, so the quartet of youngsters have been named in the squad, and it looks like a couple of them have been named in the starting 17 on the bench. With Connor Wrench out, Greg Minikin comes in on the wing, and the 2 youngsters that are on the bench, Adam Holroyd and Luke Thomas, are the ones that are going to pick up the slack. Danny Walker is the starting acting halfback today, with Darryl Clark reverting to the bench with Jason Clark. Leeds Rhinos were first off the mark, as it was Ash Hanley that got on the end of a flowing move, working his way back inside, and while the movement was sort of stopped, the offload from Reece Martin found Richie Myler, who found Ash Hanley in support to score the first try of the game. Warrington hit back though, and this time it was youngster Riley Dean, kicking, getting a fortunate bounce, getting through a tackle of Ash Hanley to score right to the posts. Leeds got back into the lead though, as this time an offload by James Bentley found Reece Martin, and as he was going to close down the gap for his conversion, he bumped into the ref. But Leeds' 3rd try came from Morgan Gannon, as he took over 2 Warrington defenders but what a kick from Reece Martin to extend the scoreline to 18 points to 6 at half-time. Before half-time, though, it was Zane Tetavano who got onto the score sheet. And that was Leeds done with their scoring, 24 points to 6 at half-time. Jake Wardle got over for what was first a consolation effort with that, but then after Leeds Warrington debutant was held up over the line, it was Ben Curry who got over. Going back to the 10, not quite obviously, but George Williams kicked the ball behind the in-goal area for Ben Curry. Now the full-time score is 24 points to 18 in the Rhinos' favour, as the Rhinos head into 5th place in the playoff picture, while Warrington continue to be inconsistent in a poor season. And the final game that we're going to cover is the live TV game, as last Sunday was very differing for Sunday for both Hull FC and Wakefield. Whilst Wakefield almost certainly secured their survival with a shot win over second place Wigan, Hull FC started solid against St Helens but evaporated with the champions running in 11 tries to claim a 60 points to 6 triumph over the Black and Whites. That defeat leaves Hull FC playoff hopes dangling by a thread. Low on confidence and taking on a side that are certainly on the up, this could be a tough game for the Black and Whites, who sit bottom in the form charts for the last 10 games with only 2 wins in that period. Anyway, let's look at the teams. So starting with the home team first of all, as Will Smith moves to fullback, as Hull are short on fullback options after being delivered another devastating foot injury to Jack Walker and Jake Connor copping a 1-match ban. Even Darnell McIntosh is out of the side due to injury, which means that he is out for the season. Kane Evans has also joined Jake Connor on the naughty step, as he also received a ban this week. But Liggy Sau and Manu Ma'u return at least to get some much needed backup for the inexperienced backline. That means young Harvey Barron starts on the wing with Ellis Longstaff and Connor Wynne being the academy players that have played for 2 for England Knights and 2 from Hull's academy. Mitieli Vilika-Japani finishes off the back spots. Ben McNamara returns to the starting lineup in place of the aforementioned Walker, as Will Smith has been moved to the fullback position. Scott Taylor makes his 300th career appearance for Hull in rugby league for Hull tonight. Joe Lovidua, Liggy Sau and Manu Ma'u both start, but it's on the bench where we see David Litton make his debut from the bench, and Matty Laidlaw as well. Chris Sarte is on backup, but Danny Houghton is dropped to the bench. For Trinity, they have lost Kalepi Tenganoa to a 3-match ban after their win over Wigan. They have also lost fellow forward in the shape of inform James Batchelor to injury. And to make matters worse, their own fullback can't play, with Jamie Shaw not allowed to play against his parent club. How much would Hull like to have played him in this game? Anyway, fortunately, they have Max Jowett back in the fold, and he makes his return to the fullback spot. Jack Croft and Lee Gaskell continue in the centres, with Lewis Murphy scoring last week on the wing with Lee Kershaw, who also scored on the other. Jacob Miller and Mason Lino are the halfbacks, with Tini Arona as a starting forward with Chai Whitbread. Corey Hall makes a surprise move into the second row with Josh Bowden at loose forward. But on the bench, Bradley Walker, Yusuf Aldin, Eddie Batty and David Fafita complete their lineup. So it was Wakefield who got the first try on the board after wing play which saw the halfbacks get the ball out to Lewis Murphy, who scored on his second attempt in the dive in the corner. The early one, his left leg was out in touch, but this time the ball was grounded and he was so far in the air he was almost flying. Fantastic effort from the Wakefield winger, who has his first try of the night. Another look at it. No separation according to the video referee. And the try was given. Here's that decision. Wakefield came again after Mason Lino converted the first Murphy try with another excellent move. Again, they looked towards a wing, and this time they went right. And after the ball was shipped to Lee Kershaw, he dove in the corner. The wing play was very, very methodical from Wakefield, and it was easy to see what they were going to do. They were going to be structured together and get the ball out wide, create the overlap. What a fantastic effort, and Wakefield were deserving of the lead, and they were 12-0 up. Hull did manage to get a try back in the first half, and again it was through a decent effort in the right edge. This time, after Ellis Longstaff was caught up, a grubber in goal by Luke Gale was missed by two Wakefield players, as you see here. An air shot and a dive over, and then it was Ben McNamara who went over. Luke Gale had the simple extras for 12 points to 6. But we're coming up to half time, and after a fantastic bomb from Jacob from the halfback, I can't remember his name now, Lewis Murphy got on the end of the ball again and scored in the corner, according to the referee. They were going to check the onside, offside and the contact from Miller's kick, and an accidental hit between Gaskell and Barron saw the ball ricochet off Gaskell's head. Everyone's onside, and Murphy was the first to react. Despite a late attention from Will Smith to try and get the Wakefield winger out into touch, he was unsuccessful. Murphy dotted down for the second try. Well, his second try of the game, and Wakefield's third. Here is that decision to confirm the try was given. Mason Lino missed the conversion, and it was half-time 16 points to 6 to Wakefield. Things got worse for Hull as they got sloppy with all the handling errors, despite some rampaging runs by Lee Sow and Chris Sarte. But this time, after it looked like Corey Hall was held up over the line, he got the ball away and Liam Hood scored just right to the post. The momentum was kept going over the line, and Hood was there to benefit off the offload from Corey Hall, playing in the second row and doing quite well. 5 people around him and he still gets the ball away. That's poor defending from Hull. Another Jacob Miller kick. This time was fumbled by Barron, who coughed up the ball to Wakefield once more. And with the line beckoning, it was the second tackle and the ball went out wide and was forced out of Gaskell's hands for Murphy to dot down. But the video referee was called upon to make sure that everything was fine with the raking out, and Barron got there on this after Will Smith attempted. It was his touch that got him out, and Murphy was just quicker in mind and in body than the Hull defenders, getting there just before Ben McNamara. So another quick touch on that. That's one way to get your hat-trick. Here is that decision. The try is given. Wakefield are decimating Hull. Hull, though, had a little say about it to carry on. 26 points to 6 at this time, with Lino getting only one of the kicks, but Ellis Longstaff got over off another Luke Gale kick into the in-goal area. Perfectly weighted. Missing the ball was Brad Walker, and Ellis Longstaff, the Warrington loanee, gets another try for Hull. Gale adds the extras, and we're at 26 points to 12. The last say of the game went to Chris Sarte as the big forward crashes over the line underneath the sticks. Took 3 Wakefield players over with him, but he got it down. Luke Gale added the extras. Great effort from the big man. Just took the 3 players over the line, and it was another try. Final score is Hull 18, Wakefield Trinity 26. Hull falling to pieces again at the end of the season. Wakefield finishing strongly yet again. Another end of season revival.